Hi, welcome to my video on the QIMIC, and I hope I got that right, gimbal stabilizer. Now this is a smartphone selfie stick with a built-in one-axis stabilizer. Now I purchased this off Amazon UK. At the time I paid £39.99 for it. Now in the box you get the selfie stick gimbal itself, you get a nice felt pouch, you get a USB-C charging cord, you get a manual, and you get the remote. Now this is how the QIMIC looks, and I hope I got that right, how it looks out the box. It's a very compact selfie stick with a one stabilizing axis on there. Now what do I mean by that is it will stabilize your phone in the roll axis. So when you're walking with this selfie stick, your phone won't roll from side to side. You can keep that perfectly still. It doesn't stabilize on the tilt. It doesn't stabilize that way, only on the roll. Now I'll start off with the construction of this, and I'll start from the top and work to the bottom. At the top here we've got this clamp, this jaws clamp for your phone, and it takes any size phone. Now on this clamp, it's a double spring loaded clamp. So when I pull on it, it's a very quiet clamp, not much squeakiness out of that clamp, so that's quite good. It has a rubber on the bottom and on the back and at the top of this clamp, so it won't mark your phones up when you place it in there, and it can take any size phone, any width phone in landscape. It does do portrait, but I'll come on to that later on how it does the portrait. Obviously this is made out of ABS plastic, and on the back here, on this arm here, we have the motor in there to prevent the roll of your phone in that one axis. The motor is in here. As we come down the stem here, we have a button here, that's a power button to operate this motor, to switch on this motor and also put it in modes as well, but I'll come on to that later on. And on the other side of this stem here, we have a light, a small LED and a USB-C female port. Now that is to charge the battery within here for the motor. So there's two batteries within this selfie stick. There's one for the motor itself and one for the remote, but I'll come on to the remote later on. Said made out of this ABS plastic. Come down, we have a little line diagram here telling you that there is a locked position on this clamp here. So this clamp at the present moment is locked. To unlock it, you simply turn it clockwise and you'll hear a tick. I'll do it again. You'll hear that, and that will unlock it. So then you can put your phone in there and it releases for this motor. So when you're traveling on whatever, you can lock it into place if you do not wish to use the motor for the roll axis in here. Axis. Anyway, we come down to the bottom here and we have the platform here. Now, this is not swivel, this is fixed. So this platform here is fixed. It does not swivel from side to side. It does not do that, which is a bit of a shame. Even though it states on the box 360 degrees, but I think that is for the clamp. Then we come down to this stem here. And the stem itself is an aluminium stem, and it's has this kind of gunmetal grey colour. The only thing what I'd say is a bit disappointing with this stem, even though they're giving it two seams, is two disappointing things really than one. One, this particular mount, I could tell you now, is riveted in to this stem. You can see at the top, and I'll try and get it on video, folks, there's three dots here where they've pressed it. So take it that there's a plastic piece that is gone into the top part here, and then they glue it and press it in, and that's why you got them three dots. which is a bit of a shame. We come down to these actual stems of each section, and we've got these collars that are not quite the same color as the gunmetal grey stem. Stem is nice and stiff, and it comes out into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections when extended out. Now we come to the body. Now the body has the same kind of plastic, ABS plastic. It is very smooth. There is no grip on this body whatsoever. It's not even a pattern on there, so it's very smooth. And the body also doubles up as the handle, and the handle doubles up as the legs. So these span out as legs as well to give this selfie stick gimbal. I'm going to call it a gimbal because even though it's got one axis, I'm going to call it a gimbal. So to give this some balance. But on this main part of the stem, there is no attachment for a lanyard on there, which is a shame. Each of the legs on there does has this cross member, which I do like because it gives the legs more stability and strength. I have to say that each leg is made out of a thick piece of ABS plastic, so it doesn't have a kind of cheap wobbly feeling to the legs. And at the end of each legs, there is rubber placed on the ends of each legs. On one of the legs here, we have the remote itself. Now I have to say this is one of the best remotes I've ever come across. The remote itself has a built-in rechargeable battery, and it has a USB-C port behind there. So this needs charging. Now I have charged this remote from dead, and it takes about 1.5 hours, just under that, to charge the remote. And the same goes for the actual motor as well in the arm here. It takes about roughly 1.5 hours. You do on the remote and on the arm here, you'll have a red light when charging. When in operation, it's a green LED light on the remote and on the arm, but when charging, it's a red light, and both of these lights will go out when it's fully charged. When it comes to the weight of the QIMIC, I hope I got that right. Well, when it comes to the weight of that it's 200, I was going to say 120, it's 220 grams in weight, it weighs, and the collapsible length when folded down is only 6.5 inches. Just before you place your phone into this selfie stick, there's a couple of things you need to do and watch out for. Now the first thing has to be, there's a sticker on there with a little inscription on there, but basically it's telling you which direction to place your phone in there where the lens is. Now with most mobile phones, your camera, and I hope I got this right, is on the left hand side. So if you're looking at your phone from the back, it's on your left hand side. So it's telling you to place your phone in this clamp with the camera down. So you place your phone that way into the clamp, center your phone as much as possible. Now it doesn't mind if your phone's got the volume buttons and the power button here, because there's grooves cut out on either side of the clamp. It won't press on those buttons. So you center your phone, and as you can see, your phone should be in the clamp like this. Then you've got another inscription under the arm itself telling you to unlock the clamp. Now if you don't unlock the clamp and you press this button to start the motor in here, you will hear a warning, a siren, and there'll be a red light flashing here next to the USB port sound. You won't able to get the, I won't able to get the red light because it comes on quite quick and then comes off. So take my word for it. So I'm going to press the button, and as I said, it takes about 5 seconds, a 5-second press of the button. And did you hear that? That was the siren warning me that the clamp is locked, so it can't operate the motor. Now to unlock, so you can operate the motor, we turn it clockwise. So that's facing me, you turn it that way clockwise, and as you do it, just for your sake, I'll turn it that way. As you can see, the phone is now free. It's spinning free. So once that is done, you press the button again, and you can see there it goes. It centers itself, and the first orientation it will go into is portrait. Even if you finished on landscape and had this phone in landscape, once you switch off the button and switch it back on again, it will put it, first orientation will be portrait. Now on the side there's a green light. It's hard to pick up on there, but there's a green light. As I said to you before, it stabilizes your phone in the roll axis, not in the tilt axis. So it doesn't stabilize your phone that way at all whatsoever. It stabilizes your phone that way, and that's how it stabilizes your phone. Now after doing that, pressing that button on, you can now press the remote button. So if you press on the remote button, you'll get a green light there on the remote button, and that's flashing. So it's now connected. It's flashing because it's connected to the phone, and I'll come on to that later on in the video, how to connect it to your phone. It's very easy. Now when you press the mode button, now the M button, which is hard to pick up, what's going on, go closer to my camera. When you press the M button now, as you can see, it will put your phone into a landscape. So if I press it again, it puts it into portrait. Now this function also can be done with the button on the side here. When you press the button on the side, which is the power button for the motor, if I press it once, so what I'm going to do is just hold that there. So it's that button, and I'm going to press it once. As you can see, landscape. And if I press it again, portrait. This is how the QIMIC, I hope I got that right, looks when it's fully extended. Now it does state on Amazon page, it does actually for once state the correct length, because it actually states the length at the end of from the top of the handle here to the bottom of the mount itself, 16.8 inches between these 2 points. So for once, Amazon seems to have written it down proper, or this company has given it to Amazon properly as the proper extension length. Now this is how the QIMIC looks when you've got the legs spread out. Now earlier on I said to you that the central column in the actual column of this, the stem, does protrude down, and I'll turn it to the side here. As you can see, that the stem does protrude down. But one thing I do like with this is that you can make the adjustment with this stem so it can act as a central leg to the tripod, which gives this more stability on the ground. Like I said to you earlier on, I do like how the handles of this thing, which doubles up as the body, which doubles up as the legs, it's a nice thick plastic. The only thing I wish they had grip on there, but as I stated, that they do provide you with a nice thick pieces of rubber on the bottom here, nice thick feet on there of rubber, so it's not that slippy. Another reason why I've got it like this is to show you how to calibrate it as well. Now hopefully when you get this item you don't have to calibrate it, but the calibration of this is quite simple. To calibrate this, I'm gonna come out, you won't see my face in a minute, but you'll hear me. Now to calibrate this, if you were facing on that way, looking at it, this is what you have to do. You make sure that this is unlocked. So let's say it was in the landscape position. So what you'll do is, and I'll switch it on. Let's switch this on first to show you. And that will turn around. Okay. Now, if it's a bit slightly off, this isn't off, folks, it's the way how I've set up. But anyway, if it was slightly off and this was like leaning to one side or whatever, and it wasn't in the portrait position properly, so holding that straight with one hand, and then with the other hand, you press on the button, so you power this on while holding it, and do four quick in succession presses, and you'll hear a noise. Now I'm going to try and do it so you can hear this. It's a bit funny, I'm going to do it all back to front. So I'm going to press the button 4 times. And did you hear that? I hope you got that. That tells you that it's now calibrated. Now it's the same. You do the same thing if you want it landscape. So if I press the button and we get it onto landscape. Now if this was off-centered, so it wasn't like that straight on, it was slightly like that, your phone was like that, you do the same thing again. You hold your phone, you hold the phone in the landscape position with one hand, make sure that it's straight. While power is on, do 4 presses in quick succession to the power button on the arm, and you'll hear that noise. That little siren will go off telling you that it's calibrated. If you can't get to grips with how to calibrate the QIMIC, don't worry, there's a QR code in the booklet or manual that you get with the QIMI, with the selfie stick. There is a QR code in there. Now once you scan the QR code with your phone, it will take you to YouTube, and there is a video from the company of a guy showing you how to calibrate it, and he does do an excellent job. He doesn't rush through it. He takes his time to show you how to recalibrate the selfie stick. Now, as promised, folks, I'm going to tell you how to connect the shutter button here with your phone. Keep your finger down on the power button just keep it down as long as possible, and the LED, the light here will go flash blue. The Bluetooth's on anyway. Now, when this is flashing blue, it will come up on the bottom here, or come up as device found, and it will come up as QIMI or QIMIC or whatever it is, QIMIC. I hope I got that right. I hope I'm saying it right. QIMIC WS21006. It will come up. All you do then, just press pair on your phone. Just press pair. The shutter button will then pair. The light will then go from blue to green, and it will flash a couple of times. Then you're paired. You are paired. It will pair with a green light. So that's when you know you're paired. Now, normally on my videos, I will tell you if the shutter button, when in the camera mode, does it make a noise? Now I'm going to get rid of that. The reason being is what I looked over on some of my videos, and I found the majority of the shutter buttons that don't make a noise on your phone are the ones that are connected to the selfie stick itself via a cable. They don't seem to make a noise. The independent ones, whether they're battery operated or like this, have their own power supply in there, and you just charge them up, they make a noise. So I'm going to do away with that altogether. 2 pence worth on the QIMI, or I bet you I got that name wrong. It's QIMIC or stabilized selfie stick. Now I'll start off with the bad points first, and the first bad point has to be with this handle. And the reason why I say it's a bad point is the handle is too smooth. I love the build quality of this. It's got very good build quality. It does not feel cheap. It doesn't feel expensive, but it doesn't feel cheap. It just feels middle of the road for its price, which is quite good. But these guys could have put at least a bit of grip on this handle. If they put a bit of grip on this handle, this would actually feel like, I would have to say something like a GoPro brand. It will feel like that, or a Stoop Tig. It will feel like that. Because they've left it smooth, it's just a bit too smooth. Another tip has to be with the actual gimbal head or clamp itself, and that's being, we have this lock there. Now I can see this being damaged very quickly, because most people are going to forget that you have to lock this, or they're going to try and force it the opposite way. So instead of turning it clockwise, they're going to turn it anti-clockwise and break that little mechanism inside. It's a locking system there, and which is also the telling button for the motor as well. They're going to break that, so that's another disadvantage with this thing, another negative. The very last negative I'm going to say about this, well, it's a kind of a negative and it goes into the positive as well, depends how you see it. Quickly, there's no lanyard hole, so you can't fix a lanyard to it. And also, as I says, going from negative to positive is the stem. The stem does protrude down, so when you want to sit this down on the ground, you're going to have to push the stem up so you can get the feet out, so it sits level to the ground. So that's the only thing. Now, when I says, now I'll come on to the positives now. And I'll start off with the stem, because that comes into the positives as well, kind of. The stem does provide a fourth central leg to this tripod, which gives it extra stability. Another positive I do like is that it's got these struts here to give it more stability, along with the thick legs and the thick pieces of rubber on the ends does give it some grip, so which I do like. The positive I like is the remote. I like it's a decent size remote, and it does feel good in the hand, and I like how it's just a simple 3-button display, and it's rechargeable, so that's great. And it sits in this kind of recess in there, or kind of cradle it sits in, which has a magnet. It's not a very strong magnet, but it has a magnet in there, so as you bring this closer, you'll feel it pulling towards it, and it clips right in. Last couple of positives I'm going to mention about this is, I do like how they've got an actual siren on here. You do actually hear a siren if you forget to unlock this clamp to activate the stabilization of the roll axis for this motor. I do like that, how it warns you that this is locked. I do also like the way how they recessed the clamp here, and I'll try to recess this clamp with some grooves in there, that it doesn't affect on your phone and your mobile phone any of the buttons on either side. So I do like that. This is my overall conclusion. I'd say for the price of, at the time when I bought this, at $39.99, I think it's gone down now. Looking recently, it was at $35.99. This is not a bad stabilized selfie stick in the roll axis. And it only gives you one stabilization, so it's kind of like half a gimbal, half a selfie stick. It's not bad for its price. I do like how compact and lightweight it is, compared to one that I reviewed some time back. If I remember, I'll leave it down in this description, but if I don't, it comes under stabilized selfie sticks, I think I got it under, so it comes under that. I do prefer this one. I do prefer its size, its shape, how compact it is. And so if you're going on holiday and you want at least some kind of stabilized footage from your phone camera, this is not a bad item to get. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I perfectly understand my videos can be long, but I like to go into detail on the item or the product, so when you get it, you know what to expect. Please subscribe to my channel if you like the channel. I'll be grateful for that, and I'll see you next time.